How much credibility are you gonna lose appearing on this show?
I don't know, but we need to open avenues to be heard.
Let's talk about something we can all agree about, right? Free education. So, you were one of the very, very few, might have been the only one. Not only, I won't say only. One of the few who emphasized accessible education over free education. How are those two different, and what's the relationship that they have with each other between accessible and free?
Well, I think when we talk about accessible education, it means that, well, there's access to it. It means that regardless of whether you're rich or poor, you do have the means to be able to get an education. I think where the nuance comes is when you say free. It means it's free. You get it for zero cost, regardless of your social standing or your economic standing. I think it has been no secret at this point that though I am for free education in the long run, I believe in that. I see socialized education as a concrete step in getting there, acknowledging that there are other sectors in society or even within the tertiary education or education sector in general that needs funding given the funds that we have.
So let's say I have more means to be educated than student B. Are you saying that right now I should be paying more than student B?
I wouldn't say should, but given the context, like there is a need. Because if student B needs access to education, then we need to find ways to do that. So
why do I have to pay for his education?
It's not necessarily that you have to, but I think when you take into consideration that we're a community, we're a society, and when you take into consideration that there is an asymmetry in terms of economic differences, social differences and whatnot, we see socialized education as a way to kind of equalize, give a sense of equal footing on equal ground for people. And I think that's why I would justify that if you are rich or if you are able, you would, at this current context, there's a need to pay.
Yeah, but what if I really want to buy a PS4 though?
Then I don't know, maybe you can save from the other gadgets that you buy and then you can get that PS4, because every funding that goes to your free education so that you can buy that PS4 is funding that does not go to a sector that needs it more. And I would think for example that a better research facility, a better innovation center, a better classroom, or professors getting paid higher wages has more benefit to society than you getting a PS4. I'm sorry, I want a PS4 too, but you know.
So okay, you heard it here first. Carlos Cabaero doesn't want you to have a PS4.
It's not I don't want you, but you know, you need to find your way to get it while making sure society gets theirs as well. Not their PS4, their welfare.
Okay. But what's the difference though?
Between a PS4 and welfare? Well, I don't know. I think there's no welfare too, but there will be a PS5.
Oh, that's true. Okay.
It's constant.
Since you are now a counselor for the UP Diliman University Student Council, how are you gonna fix the Philippines?
I think, well, as a member of the USC...
Let's make it one sentence.
Ooh! Are you ready for multiple compound clause central? No. We address the issues of the students and their concerns and their needs so that we may be able to incentivize them to participate and really take part in the national discourse, in the hope that by addressing the inward needs of the student body, we can encourage them to go out, go to the marginalized, and seat themselves in the national discourse and make a stand and fight for the change that they want to happen here in this country.
Do you feel there's a hierarchy in terms of who to serve first between student body and nation? Because in UP, it seems especially in UP, only in UP in fact, there's an expectation of the student leaders to serve not just the student body,
Yeah.
but the whole country. Is there a hierarchy?
I wouldn't say hierarchy because that implies that there's a top-bottom thing. I think the mandate of a USC is to be able to serve both the country and the students all at once. Research says that humans can actually multitask, so I don't think that that's an impossibility. But I think so. It's a balance. You cannot just serve the students and ignore the plights of the marginalized or ignore the plights of what's going on in our country. While at the same time, you cannot just serve the country while at the same time ignoring the plights of the students. In the end, we're all one movement. So we need to, and I think that's the challenge of the USC. How do we find the balance between serving the students and serving the people?
What does that say about the student body, though, that the voter turnout this year was less than half?
Well, I guess it's an improvement from last year, slight improvement.
It's a tiny improvement. It's
An
very
improvement
tiny.
nonetheless. Statistically, yeah, it might not be, what I think that does say is that there are certain students that may feel that, for one reason or another, that there's no reason to involve themselves in either local or universal university politics for reasons. I would think a part of it is because they feel that it may not be relevant to them, their needs are not met, or maybe that there are better avenues to explore either their personal or their nationalistic needs.
Maybe it's because you're trying to take away their PS4.
Maybe. But I think this campaign is all about telling them that it's more than just the PS4. It's really trying to be relevant to them as students, but at the same time being able to create an avenue where they can learn more about the country, they can learn more about the conditions that's going on in our society, while at the same time giving them a platform to organize, giving them a platform to voice out their stands, and giving them a platform to do action. I think all of this is what a USC represents, and I think the struggle now would be working with the USC now and all the diversity that it has to be able to hit all those points and really be relevant to the students in every personal, local, and even national aspect, so that people see that one way or another the USC is relevant to me. Because when they see that the USC is relevant to them, they decide that, oh, there are some changes I want to see, but the only way I can get that is if I participate. And by participating, we get their concerns, we get their grievances, and we can cater to their needs and their concerns and their ideas more. And I think that starts a very productive cycle of greater participation, greater checks and balances, greater listening, and in the end, better representation, bridging towards more proactive action towards the country and the student body.
Anything else you want to plug? A message to the students or anything?
Thank you to everyone who voted. Regardless of whether you voted for me or not, first thing is to be able to participate and let your voice be heard. Now that we're here, I guess the challenge is this. In the trend here in the Philippines and in politics in general, we tend to look for messiahs, we tend to look for heroes. I think it's time we stop looking for people like that. We look for leaders, and leaders lead, but we need to realize that if we want something changed, if we want things to be implemented, if we want to see a certain something happen, then we should not just entrust it to our leaders, but we should also entrust it to ourselves, to go out and participate, to go out of our comfort zones. I think naman with every party, and even with our own platform, this was never meant to say, hey, we are the solution to all of your problems. It was never like that. It's us presenting our vision, presenting the road. And now that you voted us in, I sincerely hope that we can all find ways to connect and work together to get this vision, to get these things to work, to make these things happen. So, yeah.
You talk a lot, you know that?
Yeah, I hear that a lot.